Welcome back to another episode of Smith Boys Podcast. Cam and Garrett here. We got a recap, post-game analysis. God damn it, Detroit Lions.
Detroit football Lions.
They won 3 in a row, brother. They emptied out MetLife Stadium, brother. Detroit Lions ran away with that game, brother. And it was a point that I pointed out there at the end of the game. I don't know, 6-7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And looking up into the stands, and it was empty. Everybody was leaving. And
it was gone.
How many times in your life have you ever seen in an opposing team stadium get cleared out because the Lions ran them out of town?
No.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I don't think I've ever seen it. They played so well, I thought, throughout the whole game. I thought that they really dominated.
One of the best games I've ever seen them play, probably, fundamentally. And,
good solid defense. Hutch.
They played 60 minutes of football. They played 60
We're gonna look
minutes
at the positives
of
right
football
away.
today.
We're going to look at the positives right away. Kirby Joseph is a stud. I think Aiden Hutchinson is a stud. I think Jared Goff played exceptionally well today. I mean, he was exceptionally well, but he played
well enough.
Very efficient.
Played well enough to
win.
enough.
Moved the ball when he had to on third down. That was the key. I thought as the Lions were able to move the ball on relatively third and longs.
Well,
it was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 12s and stuff. They were able to pick up those first downs. Defensively, they bottled up Saquon. He couldn't do nothing. I think he had, I think it was like 12 carries for like 18 yards or 29 yards or something like that. I mean, he had no impact on the game, even in the receiving side. And Daniel Jones was really the only reason that he killed the Giants with the interceptions, but he was the only reason really they were in the game. It's like he was picking up 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 9s.
He made enough plays here or
legs,
there. Yeah, he made enough plays here or there to kind of keep them around.
Yeah. But that was really kind of the Giants' only saving grace, and the first half was really, I thought, kind of a slugfest, and you thought the Giants were going to come, and when they took that lead, they couldn't make the extra point, and it was 6-3. You thought, oh man, it's going to be SOL, but no, Lions stood up and they played, I thought, a good solid football game. I mean, to win 3 games in a row, hey, I'm impressed. And you got to look at the Bills this week coming up, and I think you got a shot. You got a damn good shot.
Well, let's talk about.
And I should have picked the Lions. I should have stuck to my 24-13 Lions pick. I screwed up.
You didn't. You didn't. Nobody gives a shit. So
but I was close.
Let's hit on that point with Buffalo here for a minute before we kind of get more in back.
You don't want to talk about this game?
No, I just want to make a point about Buffalo real quick before we get back into the game. Could this all be setting up? This whole thing of Buffalo had to move a game to Detroit, their Cleveland game. They had to come and play that game at Ford Field. So they're staying here for the week.
Oh, yeah.
Does this all set up for just fate? Just, God, breathing down some warm yellow light on the Lions and just saying, this is all perfectly set up to where Buffalo they're out of their comfort zone. They've got to play 2 games here in the same stadium where they're not at home, and sleeping in their own beds. They got to stay in Detroit. Do the Lions actually win 3 in a row here going into this game? Big Thanksgiving Day, nationally televised game against the Bills. And is it all just setting up perfectly to where the Bills play just a shitty off game?
Yeah, dude, the Bills have played like shit the last couple games.
And the Lions knock off the mighty Bills and get to 5-6 by winning 4 games in a row.
Yeah, exactly.
But you fully buy in and foresee this happening,
dude. I don't even. I totally foresee this happening. Absolutely, bro.
Without a doubt.
At this rate,
Bills are done.
Oh, I don't think the Bills are done. I mean, come on. You think I'm an idiot?
You idiot! You fool!
Jesus.
Well,
the Bills could easily rise. The Bills could easily just smack the Lions like this. You could totally see that happening. However, you got to look at these last 3 weeks and you got to say the Lions, and especially today, that was probably one of the more impressive Lion wins I've seen in 15 years.
And
I'm not shitting.
And I want to point that out with the Lions game today. But I want to compare it in context to how they won the last 2 games. Today, this game against the Giants, they won. They outright the Giants from start to finish. They won this game outright, played 60 minutes and won.
Yeah.
The first 2 games that they won against Green Bay and Chicago, I mean, let's be honest. They honestly probably should not have won those games.
Okay, whatever.
You know,
but
so
they
I'm just
did.
saying.
But they
I
did.
know.
That's the NFL, though, brother.
I
mean,
know,
come on,
but I'm just saying.
On.
Well, you're over here acting like
somebody's got to win the game.
You're over here acting like they've turned a corner and they've solidified and completely won 3 games in a row in dominating fashion, and that's not the case.
I'm not saying that. Have I said that?
They've won
no.
1 game in dominating fashion.
Okay, I'm not saying that the other 2 games. We've talked about the other 2 games, and we put those games into context. Now we got to put this game into context. And what this context of this game says is that's what they did to the New York Football Giants.
That's what I just said like 10 seconds ago.
Well,
so we got to look into this. We got to look into this winning streak here. 3 games in a row is it's not by accident. I mean, you win 3 games in a row in the NFL. Very hard to do.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
hard to do.
You got to give them credit, and you got to say that they have shown a huge amount of progress on the defensive side of the ball since they've gotten rid of Aubrey Pleasant. And I thought that the Lions played like such a good defensive game plan where they were really at the line of scrimmage, I thought, throughout most of it. Their corners played at the line of scrimmage. They really jammed the Giants wide receivers pretty much throughout the whole entire game. And then they just bottled up. Aleem McNeil, shout out to Aleem McNeil.
Played a good game.
Yeah, when we do the heroes and zeros,
he's going to be one of your heroes.
Yeah. He was phenomenal from start to finish. I mean, they showed him up there. I think he had like 6 pressures, he had 1 sack, and he had like 13 hurries or whatever. Or 13 snaps. So he was a huge impact, not only there, but also in the running game.
Hutch was a guy that I watch him, and I didn't really see him do much in the backfield pressure-wise, but he was Johnny on the spot for 2 plays, 2 big plays with the interception and the fumble recovery. So, I mean, take it for what it is. I mean, he's kind of Johnny on the spot, but he was there and he made the play.
I think that's football IQ. Would you say that's a little bit of football IQ?
A little bit of football IQ.
Where to be.
A little bit of luck, a little bit of football IQ. But, you're still looking for him at the line to make a difference.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't see much of that today.
No, I didn't either.
I mean, the Giants got a pretty good offensive line, too.
Yeah, there was nobody that really...
Shout out to, you want to talk about offensive line, that was one of the key points I wanted to hit on with this game. His brother covered the defense here pretty well, saying that the defense was a huge success point, and they've really gotten better since they fired Aubrey Pleasant.
Just real quick, too, they called some key blitzes on some third downs there.
Pressured Jones and got in his face.
Yeah, even there was like a 2nd and 10, and Anzalone had a delayed blitz and really blew up that whole play.
Matt Stafford left the game in the 3rd quarter under concussion protocol for the Rams.
He was under concussion protocol going into that game.
And apparently he left the 3rd quarter under concussion protocol again for Matt Stafford.
Now the Cowboys here.
But to get back on point with the offensive line is that Lions offensive line, I would say...
We're watching Cowboys-Vikings.
The Lions offensive line today, pass protection-wise, is probably one of the better performances I've seen. They've had good performances, but today was one of the better ones I've seen because the Giants blitz more than any team in the league, and the Lions gave up no sacks today. And Jared Goff dropped back to pass quite a few times. What do you have, like 25 pass attempts, something like that?
Yeah, 26 for 165.
Didn't throw for a ton of yards. Wasn't remarkable, but my point is that he had a lot of time to throw the ball, and with the amount of pressure that the Giants are able to get from week to week, the number 1 blitzing team in the league, that offensive line stood strong. And anybody who wanted Kayvon Thibodeau over Aiden Hutchinson is, at this point, I mean, they got a whole career to play out, but as we're seeing so far into their careers, it looks like Hutchinson was the better guy so far.
You got to be happy with Hutch. And I was a Hutch guy. I was a Hutch guy, obviously. I was a Michigan guy. Well, I watched him his whole career, and I definitely watched every game, literally every game last year, so pretty much every snap. He was a really good player. I knew he was a really good player. If you drafted him, you were going to walk away.
He was pretty quiet at Michigan until his senior year.
Yeah, but you were going to walk away with somebody that was a disruptor.
He's got a motor. He doesn't quit. Yeah, that's his biggest attribute to me, is that he has a motor and does not quit.
You were getting somebody that was going to make a difference.
So it's the passing game to me. I wanted to touch on a little bit too. Is Jared Goff. We still, brother, we still really don't know what this guy is.
No.
Now, if
he's
a guy that if the defense can play exceptional and get him good field position and not put him in bad spots, and you have a good defense that doesn't give up a ton of points, and he doesn't have to do everything on his own, it seems like he's serviceable enough to win you games. I mean, we've seen it with the Rams. He took them to a Super Bowl, and he did have a great season, 1 or 2 pretty good seasons in LA when he was with the Rams. But is he a guy? We still just don't know what this guy is because he shows glimpses of like, damn, that was a good throw. There was one play where he was rolling out on a key third down and hit a guy in stride and picked up a first down to keep the drive going. And it was just like, I don't get this guy. It seems like at times Jared Goff he's pretty damn good. He's serviceable.
Yeah, he
but
is.
then there's times it's just like, this guy is a bum. We don't want this guy. And the jury's still out on him, almost 2 years in now, brother.
Well, I just want to...
What do we have with this guy?
I don't know, but I just want to go over the receiving here because this is...
And you got a star in St. Brown. St. Brown's a star.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. He had 7 catches for 76 yards. I thought Khalif Raymond had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
I thought he had more than
Justin
3 catches.
Jackson.
When I watched the game, I thought he had more than 3.
Justin Jackson running the ball had some nice runs.
Yeah, Justin Jackson is definitely a stud.
Brother really likes Justin Jackson. He brings him up a few times during the game. He likes Jamal Williams, too. Calls him the Detroit Hammer.
Yeah, the Detroit Hammer.
Not to be confused with Jennifer Hammond.
Yeah, so, but the one thing is the tight end. That's what I was going to say. Is Brock White had 2 catches for 20 yards. He had he had a couple good blocks on Thibodeau, I thought, too. But the Lions, my point is, the Lions didn't really utilize the tight end position, at all in this game.
Well, even when they had Hawkinson, we could say this year they haven't really utilized the tight end position, and now he's gone.
Well, this game really came down to the defense to me. Like, that's really what won the game.
Defense was good.
Yeah, the defense was good. They had him in good field position a lot of the game.
Defense plays like that every week.
Turnovers.
If the defense plays that seems good, that
you're
level
win
of
a lot
good
of football
every
games
week
like
from
that.
here on out, they're going to win a lot more football games.
You're going to win a lot of football games.
Which is what a lot of people have been saying all year long because they were in a lot of these games the first 6-7 weeks, even though they had 1 win. But it was like their offense was playing well enough to win all these games, but their defense constantly was shitting themselves and losing the game for them. So it was like if they had just an average defense, they could have had 4 or 5 wins.
Well, the one thing on the offensive side, though, too, is Ben Johnson's schemes. I think some of this play calling and some of his schematics that he comes up with and the play calls are very creative. And like the one play that they came out with,
Ben Johnson.
It was when the Lions got the ball right after the half, and then the Lions kind of played this little fullback play action, and Kabinda came out, and Jamal Williams was really underneath, and then Kabinda kind of went to the first down and just beyond. Oh my God! The ball was right in his hand. He had the turnaround.
I think the ball got tipped a little bit.
I didn't see that, but I know he had the turnaround, and it was kind of a tough catch as he was turning around. But still, you got to make that catch. And plus, he had dropped one earlier in the game too.
Good play design, though.
But it was a great play design, and it totally threw the Giants off. I mean, that play was going to pick up 40 yards.
That's something that the Lions. That's something that Lions offenses have lacked for decades.
And that was right after the half, so it was like. Beautiful.
Creativity in offensive play design is something Lions offenses have lacked for our whole lives, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
When you see a play like that, when you see a play like that, and I've seen them do stuff like that throughout the season, where they've had a couple plays like that.
Did you see Sewell lined up outside? Sewell was lined up as a receiver, and then they called him for a block in the back. Well, I think total BS. That is bullshit.
But it's nice seeing creativity like that because it reminds me of when you see these unique. Offensive packages like in college when you see like LSU or Alabama or Texas, some of these teams that got highfalutin offenses where they run some unique cool plays like that, and it's like, oh shit, that was beautiful play design, and you're seeing some of that a few times a game with the Lions this year, and it's all Ben Johnson. Let
me ask you a CQ here, brother. Do you think Ben Johnson and Jared Goff are kind of like a good match?
Jared Goff,
well, whatever. Do you think that they're a good match though, as far as Jared Goff is a pretty bright guy, right? I mean, he went to Cal, didn't he? Is that where he went? And I know he scored very high in the Wonderlic. I know he's a pretty bright guy. Man. And that was always a knock on Stafford, is that he was kind of a knucklehead, right?
None of that stuff means anything to me. The football and being a genius doesn't really...
I'm just saying, I think Goff, he can process the game. And they got him doing some weird stuff. I mean, the one play that he scrambled and they called it back because they called another... The refs' mic didn't come over. But Goff scrambled probably for 16, 18 yards, and it was like, goddamn, And then it just really, because that was a third down play, I think. It was Then it went from
backbreaker.
Yeah, it was from 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 17, and that really killed them.
I think, I see a little bit of that. I think Ben Johnson is getting, getting the most out of Goff.
Yeah.
I think maybe, I think if you give Aaron Rodgers to Ben Johnson, I think you just got pure magic happening. But the guy, he's getting the most out of Goff. And that's all you can ask for out of a coordinator.
I think he's putting him in successful positions, positions for him to be really successful.
Is creating a big problem going into next year because, I don't know, we were talking about this earlier, is all for some things that we had read, is Ben Johnson is probably going to be in line for a head coaching job somewhere else. So if that's the case and he takes a head coaching job for another team, now you're starting from scratch all over again with the offense and trying to find an offensive coordinator. And that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that would really set you back a little bit.
Oh, because, oh, boy, howdy.
Okay. Oh, boy, howdy.
You really have something in the offense. I mean, you put up
best part of your team.
You put up 31 points today against the Giants on
who have
the road.
A good defense. Of the
Giants have a pretty good defense. So
they've played a lot of teams with good defenses this year, and they've put up points on almost all of them.
Yeah, and it's like you've done it with Jared Goff, though. So it's like, how do you say Jared Goff
is the problem?
Is the problem?
Is he the problem?
He has been some of the problem, but
I think we've agreed that Jared Goff isn't the problem. I think we've agreed on that over the course of the season. He's not the problem. He's not a savior, and he's not the solution. He's just kind of there.
But it's really hard to limit to that just question alone.
Yeah, but I mean, there's like there was times where it was like when Stafford was here, and there was times where a lot of fans were like, Stafford was the problem. And then there was people that were like, no, it's not Stafford. And then there were people like, yeah, it is Stafford.
The other thing I think is I think the guys are having fun. I think they look like they're having fun. They're playing hard.
They're playing with a lot more intensity than I've ever seen them play. These last 3 games specifically, because before this winning streak, it looked like they were kind of dying on the coach. And they weren't playing with as much intensity. Then they beat Green Bay. And then it was kind of like, oh, well, shit, maybe we got a little moxie here when they kind of lucked into a win there. And then Chicago came along, and they kind of were playing like ass against Chicago until that pick 6 with Okudah. And then once that pick 6 happened, it seems like they've really been playing at another tier of intensity. Once that pick 6 got them back in the game, it didn't tie it or win it, but it got them back in the game. And that pick 6 really just increased their level of intensity big time. This is from what I've seen. Hoochie Mama.
Yeah, Hoochie. I was just thinking that. Hoochie Mama.
Hoochie Mama! Hoochie Mama!
Well, I don't know. I'm really shocked. I got to be honest. I mean, I said 24-13. I initially said Lions, and that was my gut, and I should have stuck with it.
It's almost disappointing because it was like we expected the Lions to kind of get their ass kicked to an extent, because it's like,
I don't know. I think they got a shot, and I should have stuck with that.
But it was like, we kind of expected the Giants to win the game somewhat handedly.
Yeah, I mean,
and it was like, and then when it's the exact opposite, and the Lions really kicked their ass. It's kind of disappointing because it was like, well, wow, we were off, we were wrong.
I had a lot of history making my decision for me, because it was like, Lions are going to have to prove it to me. So there's probably a lot more times where I will still pick the other team and not the Lions.
Well, they still got to prove it to me, because I don't want to get on this. I'm done with
3 wins. So I got to look back. When's the last time Lions won 3 in a row? And 2 on the road?
I think they said it. I think last time they won 3 in a row. I think I was listening on the radio on the way over, and they said it was like since 2017 was the last time they won 3 in a row.
Really?
Yeah, because they were talking to T.J. Lang, and I guess it was when T.J. Lang was there.
I thought it would have been like in the 90s.
But it's. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon, but I am off of tank mode, because tank mode's done after winning this game today. I mean, you're 4-6, and it looks like you got a couple more easily winnable games coming up against Jacksonville and Carolina. So I'm expecting at minimum 6 wins. Who knows? Maybe they luck into another 1 or 2 there.
Dude, you know how high Dan Campbell is right now. You know how high of a high he's feeling right now.
He's gonna make love to his wife good tonight, baby. He's going to make her say his name.
Dan Campbell is riding high right now.
He's going to make her say his name tonight.
He is just flying right now, man. He's got to feel like $1 million, and he's got to be the king of Detroit. Dan Campbell will be the king of
like
Detroit.
I said, though, I'm done with tank mode. Now I'm at the point where tank mode's done. You're not getting in the top 10 of the draft now, unless it's the Rams pick. So yeah, now it's balls to the wall. Try to win as much as you can.
Yeah.
So it's give Buffalo hell, but.
Yeah,
but I'm still not a believer in anything. You beat Buffalo on Thanksgiving, and we'll talk, as far as I'm concerned. Because Buffalo is a real deal. It looked like to me the Giants are kind of fraudulent, and we said it in the last. We said it in the last podcast that they've won with smoke and mirrors.
Yeah,
and they've got kind of a fraudulent record.
Let's end it here, and then we'll get into a Buffalo pregame.
Yeah, we'll do. We got to bring you some Buffalo pregame for Thanksgiving Day too. So
we're going into this one with some real.
A little bit of a different take.
Yeah, this isn't just
I feel dirty, brother.
This ain't really just crap on Lions.
I feel dirty.
This is kind of interesting. I
watched
watched this game with.
I don't like it.
With a different pair of eyes today.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I watched the game with a different pair of eyes. All right, well, brother wanted to do his favorite segment, Heroes and Zeros.
That's right, brother. It is time for Heroes and Zeros.
Oh, we come to heroes just for one day.
So for brother's segment, I'll let him tee it up.
Well, my number one hero after the win against the mighty Austin P. Governors, I'm going to do running back Jace McClellan. Alabama Crimson Tide ran for 156 yards, a couple touchdowns, looked good. Came in for Jahmyr Gibbs, who didn't play, and he showed himself out really well. And he looks like a guy that could.
It's a high school team, brother.
Well, hey, so be it. It looks like a guy that could have if he keeps playing well like that against Auburn, he could play himself to be an NFL draft pick in one of the first couple rounds. So good for him.
More importantly, Jake Moody is my number one hero. Saved our season, saved our ass. Plain and simple. I don't understand, though, what Harbaugh was thinking down the stretch. So there was 42 seconds left, something like that. He got all three, I think he had all three timeouts left. And it was like, what are you doing? Illinois had one timeout left, and you're within easy distance from Moody. Run the ball, kick field goal. And you're throwing the ball deep and almost picked off. It was a crap throw by McCarthy. I'm telling you, some of the decisions down the stretch I just don't get. But thank God for Jake Moody. Yeah. Number one hero.
He did save the game for you. He was the definitely the MVP of that game.
Yeah,
because your season was over.
Oh, it was.
Illinois was going to go and end your season,
but they did.
But they didn't. Number two hero for me, we're gonna go with the. I'm just gonna go out and say it. And it's gonna be the voters of the state of Florida.
Oh boy!
And if you don't know why, you shouldn't be watching Smith Boys podcast.
My second hero will be the Detroit Lions from going into New York and beating Giants. Unbelievable game, really good football game if you're a Lions fan. And hey. You're 4-6. You got things in front of you. The Bills are vulnerable. Let's see what you can do.
I still can't believe that game that we watched, brother.
I'm telling you, man. They dominated that game.
I thought they
took it to them.
Took it to the Giants. So it's just Lions as a whole for you, not Dan Campbell or Lions D.
No, just Lions and Giants. Lions as a whole. It was a good game to watch.
That might be the first and last time you ever see the Detroit Football Lions being a hero.
Yeah, I don't know.
Smith Boys podcast. Heard it here first, Garrett Smith.
I think they were my hero last week for beating Chicago. All right, who's your number 1-0?
Number 1-0. Wow. Well, it's fresh on mine. I'm going to do, since number two hero was the voters of the state of Florida, my number 1-0 is going to be the voters of the state of Pennsylvania.
Nope.
Hi, good night, everybody.
What?
And I hope you know why. If you don't, just turn off Smith Boys podcast. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Fetterman's neck. You voted for that guy. Fetterman, brother.
Wow.
I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I stand and I do support fracking.
Oh,
hello, good night, everybody.
Wow. I can't wait for that edit. My number 1-0, I will say the election process in general. There's no way we should be waiting a week or more for these election results. I don't know how Florida can have 3 times the population of Arizona, and Arizona's taken 7 days before they come up with the winners of these elections. You got to fix it. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. That type of stuff. We should know that night who is the winner. Come on. It's 2022 now.
It's the way it used to be.
Yeah, get with it.
That's the way it always was.
I don't care if we got to throw rocks in buckets. Whatever.
My number 2-0 is going to be the University of Auburn Tigers.
Oh, God.
Because we got the Iron Bowl coming up next week. Alabama, Auburn, Iron Bowl. And it ain't going to be pretty.
I don't think that
It ain't gonna be
Auburn's
pretty.
going to have a good day.
Auburn ain't very
really
good this
don't
year,
think.
and I know it was a close one last year, and Ja'Cory Brooks caught a touchdown on the last play of the game. It went in overtime, we ended up winning. But this year, I don't think it's going to be the same. It's at home this year. We always stomp them at home, and I just hate Auburn, so 0.
I just hate Auburn.
0. Bunch of zeros they are at that cow college.
All right. Well, Michigan's got Ohio State next week, brother, and that's a much bigger game than Auburn and Alabama.
God.
So we
God?
are called the game. You have a little title called the Iron Bowl. Well, Michigan and Ohio State is the game. I'm not going to say that Ohio State's my 0. They're below 0. Okay. No. My second 0 though. Oh boy, what was I saying? Yeah, just Ohio State. I don't like you. Okay. I don't like you.
Brother does hate Ohio State.
I'm more nervous than what I was 2 weeks ago once Michigan played Nebraska, because that game was like, I don't know, it was such an eye opener as far as an offense, as a passing game goes. I was just, I don't know where we're going, and the defense looked more susceptible, especially against the pass, and Nebraska didn't have a quarterback, and Illinois actually did, and so, we kind of got ate up a little bit. We probably should have lost that game, but hey, good teams grind out those wins, right? Good teams grind out those wins. They find a way, and that's what we did. So, Ohio State,
Fair enough.
biggest loser.
Yeah, fair enough. That's
Yeah.
it for Heroes and Zeros.
Yep.
Till the next one, Smith Boys,
See ya.
out.